I'ma keep it a bean. Stick to the script, every scene. This from last year, but they clean. Say to say, I'ma take something else, but it's winning team. Charlie Sheen, fam gang, the regime. I'm from Piney Green.
This been overdue forever. Asked me when it was dropping, said never. Should've made you cut the feather, but I designed it Freemason Margiela.
What's good, Shellitronnn here, the most spoke, no joking. I'm back at again with a brand new video, and today, maybe a little bit later than most of you guys expected, we're going to be getting into my final 2019 Carolina Panthers mock draft. And I've only done, two before this one? This is only my 3.0, but I think that we've done a lot of research. I've done, I think, over 20 draft profiles on players that I think are the most likely for the Panthers to be picking up this year. Keep in mind, we do have 7 draft picks, but we only have picks in the very first 6 rounds. So we won't be able to get a 7th round pick unless we do some trades. It actually reminds me, before we get into the draft, I have 3 quick notes I want to make. Number 1, this is not going to be a predictive mock draft where I say I'm going to try to find out and figure out what the Panthers are going to try to do in the draft here. I'm not going to be trying to, get into the mind of a Marty Herney or a Coach Rivera or whatever, maybe even a David Tepper to see what they're going to do. This is not going to be that. This is going to be me saying if I was in charge, if I was the GM, if I was the coach, if I had the last and final say on picks in the draft, this is what I would do with the Panthers. Point number 2, while I do believe the team might actually trade away one or maybe even a couple of their picks in this draft, this mock draft simulator cannot simulate traded draft picks or whatever. So whether you believe the team's going to trade down in the first or package some picks later on in the draft to move up in a couple rounds, I just can't do it. I won't touch on it. And the third point I want to make here is, although it's a very popular and a very possible situation that the Panthers are going to pick up a quarterback in this draft, maybe round 3, maybe very early round 4, I am not going to be drafting a quarterback in this mock draft. Now that might be kind of tipping my hand or maybe even, a spoiler alert or whatever, but I did release a video just yesterday giving all the reasons why I think the Panthers should not pick up a quarterback in this draft and why 2019 just might be a prove-it year for Cam Newton. If you want to see the reasons why I believe that, click the eye icon above my head right here. I gave a pretty long form answer. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get right down to the mock draft that I think that, it might be a good one. So without any further ado, we're on the draftnetwork.com mock draft machine website. Let's go and get into it. Panthers, next. All 7 rounds. I'm going to go fast speed here. It's the same thing, just the picks get moved faster. Whoa. Manual. And let's get it started. Kyler, Nick Bosa, Quinnen, Josh Allen. Okay. Alright. This is going to be a good one. Okay. So, very first round of the draft. There's a couple ways the team could go here. You could pick up a tackle here. Jonah Williams and Cody Ford are both really good tackles. Dillard got picked up by the... Okay. Yeah, Jonah Williams and Cody Ford are good tackles here. You could probably go for an interior O-lineman, maybe. Garrett Bradbury's a center when we pick him up. I don't think I'd go for an interior lineman. Although, honestly, with the way I've been seeing things, I'm kind of surprised that everyone's talking about getting tackles, and no one's been really talking about getting a guard, even though that's the position that is the most open on our O-line right now. We have 2 tackles, so we don't really know where they're going to be playing this season. But if we pick up a tackle this year, we're going to be having a tackle playing at the guard position. So I'm kind of surprised we haven't been seeing people talking about getting a guard in this draft. But, I think it's pretty obvious that the way to go in this draft, first pick, should be an edge rusher. I like Brian Burns a lot. He can play up and down. I like Cleveland Farrell a lot too because, the man can obviously play with his hand in the dirt. I don't think he's ever going to be playing, standing up. But I think the best move here is Brian Burns. He's so versatile. You can actually put him out in the zone sometimes, and he can play with his hand in the dirt. I like him a lot. I think Brian Burns is probably the clear choice here. And Cleveland went 2 picks later. You can go either way with those. I would want Brian Burns, but it's not like a very, very 100% clear-cut answer between those 2 for me. I could be happy with either one, honestly, and it wouldn't be a problem for me at all. Now, here's a hard one. Okay, so tackle, Tyler Howard's the best one. He's going to be a 3rd rounder probably, so I'm okay with, waiting on this. Interior O-line, Chris Lindstrom, Drew Samia, Jerry Tillery. I like Dexter Lawrence a lot. I like Dalen Mack very late. He could be a really good one. But 2nd round for me is a pretty easy one. Juan Thornhill might be available in the 3rd, but there's a chance that he might not be available in the third. Like someone else could pick him right before our 77th pick in the draft. And it's for that reason that I think that he should be a second round pick. He might have a third round grade on him, but our needs at safety are just high enough that we can say, look, we understand what the draft stock is, but we can't let a talent like Juan Thornhill go. And keep in mind that my biggest point about drafting guys is not always picking the best player available. It's picking the best player available for our scheme. So while Taylor Rapp may be a higher graded safety, he is a strong safety, and we do not need a strong safety. Get a guy who's definitely a very good free safety in Juan Thornhill, and let Eric Reed play the strong safety. I'm cool with all that. So just a quick refresher if you've already forgotten. We have Brian Burns and Juan Thornhill with the first 2 picks. This number 77 pick is where things get very, very interesting. So here for me, do we go after a lineman? Whoa, actually, a lot of my favorite picks are already gone. I'm surprised. Hold up. Caleb McGarry's gone. Wait a minute. Okay. This actually, Titus Howard's gone here. This actually throws kind of a wrench in my plans. Let's see what the interior looking like. Nate Davis, is he still here? Nate's still here. Ben Powers. Okay, I'm going with Ben Powers easily. I think this is a very clear choice. Look at corner real quick. I like Jawan. Michael Jackson could be all right for us, but I have a guy in mind later on in the draft that I think will be a better value pick. He's a sleeper here, and he has some questions to him, but I'm gonna wait on him and look at him probably in the 4th or 5th round. I think pretty easily for me, Ben Powers is a very good pickup for us. Interior O-line, he's a guard. We can worry about the tackle position maybe next season or maybe even later in the draft. I think picking up Ben Powers here, he could actually be a good starter for the team. There's some really good value in the 3rd round for an offensive lineman. I'll admit not as much value as earlier on, like the 1st, 2nd round, but Ben Powers is a very, very solid pickup in this draft. And you can pick up an edge rusher and a great safety in the first 2 rounds. I'm okay with that. We have 4 spots on the O-line that are obviously already secure. We need 1 more spot. Tackle, guard, take your pick. But I think picking up a guard this year will help out both Darrell Williams and Taylor Moton. Both stay at tackle. They can both stay at their natural position, and we can figure it out from there. Round 3, pick 100. This is where the money's really being made here. And I'm going to go ahead and say, if we were going for a quarterback, yeah, never mind. It doesn't really matter. Everything I said about quarterback right here doesn't really matter. I would not pick up any of these guys in the 3rd round. These guys will all probably be here in the 5th and 6th round. With the number 100 pick, I would probably go with David Montgomery. Let's look at other places real quick. Linebacker. Joe Giles-Harris, I like him a lot as well. Actually, Joe Giles-Harris being still here could be the move. That really could be the move. But I'm actually very, very high. Michael Jackson's right there too. I'm actually very high on David Montgomery. He's a very safe, very good running back in this draft. He's a power back. He can catch, and he has great pass protection skills. We already know that Cam needs a lot more protection this season. And having a guy like David Montgomery back there who can be a change of pace back, who's also a pass catching threat and can protect Cam, he's a triple threat kind of guy. He's not going to be like a breakout star, but he can be either a backup or a 1A, 1B kind of 1-2 punch running back. We can bring back that D'Lo and Jay Stu kind of vibe we have with the Carolina Panthers for a long time. That's a very high value pick for us, finding a backup for Christian McCaffrey who can, hold his own and at the same time extend Christian McCaffrey's career by not having him get hit so much, not having him be in the lineup so often. So I like that a lot for us. Round 4, pick 115. This is the spot where I start talking about how although guys may have a different round kind of value, like kind of the same thing when I picked Juan Thornhill, he might have been available in the 3rd round. The way the draft shakes out, he could have been there at number 77. But honestly, there's just guys that you don't want to miss out on. Guys who could be picked up before the projected round. And, if you have a big enough need for a position, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to pick up a guy. I think Mark Fields is the real answer. Now, usually he's available in the 5th. Usually this guy, Mark Fields, is available in the 5th, but I did do a mock draft off screen a couple days ago, and someone picked him up 3 picks before us. And that's the only time I've ever seen him get picked up before us in this mock draft, and it made me feel some kind of way. And I thought to myself, you know what, if we can't get Mark Fields in the 5th round, then waiting this long to get a corner will bite us hard. It'll bite us hard. We won't get a corner in this draft, and I think that'll be a big mistake. So for me, The need is great enough. And you know what? Picking up a corner in the 4th round with the skills of Mark Fields is still good. It may be the slightest bit of a reach. It could be the slightest bit of a reach here, but he's a 2nd round talent that's going to fall to the 4th, maybe 5th round. So whether it's a reach or not, it's going to be a good value pick either way. Round 5, pick 154. We have a little bit of freedom here. To do a couple things. Now, for me, I already have my receiver I want to get in this draft. I'm okay with whatever it comes out in round 6 for us. But here in round 5, we can do a lot of different things. We can look at the linebackers. No one here really fits what I want to look at here. And we already have some pretty good linebackers. We have a good stable of young guys we got last year that I think we can really depend on for this season. Now, I think we could probably go ahead and pick up a developmental tackle right here. What do we need? Looking at tackle, receiver, linebacker, tight end. Yeah, my pick would probably be Oli Udoh. Mitch Hyatt out of Clemson, I actually do like as well. But I might pick up Oli Udoh here and just call it a day. Interior D-line, is Isaiah Buggs still available? He is. You know what? I'm going with Isaiah Buggs. He's a guy who, may not jump out at you all too much, but I think in situational kind of pass rushing and maybe even more so run stopping kind of defenses, having a little bit more production in the interior of that defensive front could really help us out. And Isaiah Buggs could possibly develop into a guy you can bring in for 3 downs on every single drive. As of right now, he's, like I said, he's more like a situational kind of guy. But I like him a lot to, grow in this Panthers defense. Now, here in the 6th round is a pick that I've been high on for basically since I've been doing these mock drafts. I've been doing these draft profiles. Most of you guys already know who I'm going to pick up here. A guy out of North Carolina, Anthony Ratliff Williams. Easily. There are guys up here that might be better than ARW, but like Preston Williams is a 1st or 2nd round kind of talent at a wide receiver, but there are some personal issues that, may have him going undrafted. Probably go 6th round, 7th round. Preston Williams is a risk. There's some red flags to him, so I'm not really 100% sure if I pick him up. David Sills, I actually do like David Sills a lot, but there's some things with Anthony Ratliff Williams I like a little bit more. Hunter Renfrow is alright. Jalen Hurd is a kind of tweener running back receiver kind of guy. We have a lot of those guys in the team already, so I'm not really all that worried about him. Jazz Ferguson, I believe the team brought him in on a private meeting, or was it a workout? I'm not really sure. It was one of the two, and I know the team actually does like Jazz Ferguson. But for me, Anthony Ratliff Williams is a clear choice. We actually did bring him in for a workout, and this guy is highly underrated. If you don't know about him, check out my video I did on him, man, because Anthony Ratliff Williams was almost basically played. His college career was wasted by Carolina having terrible Division II quarterbacks. Look at what they were doing, bro. ARW really deserved a lot more. The man can block. The man can catch over the top. His comeback routes are really great. His comeback routes are amazing, honestly. And the man, like I said, was a quarterback in high school, so there could be some trickery there. A lot of these teams are trying to let their receivers throw the ball. We got a touchdown thrown on us by OBJ last year. We all remember that one. I think that Anthony Ratliff Williams, with his ability to have some high potential, be a red zone threat, and keep in mind that I don't know if it was Coach Rivera or if it was Norv Turner or if it was our GM Marty Herney who said being a high point receiver, it's not all about size, it's not all about measurables. You can be a 6'2", 6'3" kind of guy and still be a high point guy, still be a red zone threat. And Anthony Ratliff Williams 100% does fit that mold. He's only 6'2", 6'3", but he is definitely, and I mean definitely, a guy who can go and get his back corner of the end zone, front corner of the end zone, comeback routes, all that. His blocking on the outside is elite, and that will help out a lot with our offensive scheme, the way that we run some screens sometimes, the way that we do like to run Christian McCaffrey out on those swing routes, those wheel routes. Having some very 100% solid blocking on the outside from a receiver is invaluable to our offensive scheme. And I think that ARW can really help out a lot. That's how it checks out for me. 1st round, Brian Burns. 2nd round, Juan Thornhill. 3rd round, pick number 77, Ben Powers, a guard. 3rd round, pick 100, David Montgomery, a backup. Maybe a 1A, 1B, kind of 1-2 punch running back with Christian McCaffrey. Round 4, Mark Fields. Round 5, Isaiah Buggs, a defensive tackle. And round 6, ARW, who I just explained to you guys. That's all I gotta say about it, man. I think I covered just about all these guys in draft board videos. You can check out my Carolina Panthers playlist on my channel. Look at all these guys and really want to see what my full thoughts are on them. That's my opinion. I want to know yours now. What are your thoughts on my draft? Do you like my draft? Do you not like my draft? What would you have done here? And if you've also done your own mock draft, let me know what your full 7 picks will be for the Panthers in the comments below. And one last thing before I go, if you did the content here and you want to show some support, go down to the pinned comment below and sign that petition to get the Panthers to partner with this channel. It'll mean a lot to me. And as always, you already know to do that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Being told y'all I been the man. Being told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.